Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्म पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरोन् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. Whether it is the path of knowledge or path of devotion, the most important ingredient is Shraddha. Shrad Satyam Adadati. Shraddham Dadati Satyam Dadati iti Shraddha. Samantat. So, that which really gives the vision of the truth is called Shraddha. Therefore, in this verse, we read again, which verse number? In your book, it is 40. Let me check in your book, what is the number here? Okay, 46. Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat Mumuksho Bhakter Hetun Bhakti Sakshat Shrudirgihi Yova Yedesheva Tishtatyamushya Moksho Vidya Kalpita Deha Bandhat. Kalpitat Deha Bandhat. Mumukshoho Muktehe Hetun Bhakti. Mumukshoho Moktamichoho. For those who are seeking and desiring for liberation, Hetu. Hetu, Karanam, cause. What is the Hetu? What is the one which can cause the liberation? Tan Bhakti Sakshat Shrutehe Gihi. The words of the Shruti have declared this. From what? Kaivalya Upanishad. What it is, what the Kaivalya Upanishad has declared? Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga Davehi. Come to know the realize the truth, or come to become freed from the bondage by Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat. In that, Shraddha is given the first one. Bhagavan Sri Krishna also elaborately explains in 17th chapter, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. 3 types of Shraddha is also explained by Bhagavan. When did he say? Last but one chapter. See, until then he has explained so many things, because Arjun would ask this question. Ye Shastra Vidhi Muchritya. Having given up all the vidhis given in the Shastra, but he has Shraddha in the ultimate goal. Usko kya hoga? Shraddhayan Vidaha. One who has filled with Shraddha, but is not doing any of the vidhis that are given in the Shastra. What is to be done he is not doing, but he has great Shraddha. What happens? So for which Bhagavan explains, if a person has Shraddha, he will reach there. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Shraddhaya bhakti upajayate. Shraddhaya karma yoga sambhavati. Shraddhaya chitta vritti nirodha abhi. Therefore he says Shraddha, first one. See, here in this commentary also is saying Tatra Shraddha sarvatra hetuhu. Bhaktehe hetuhu, jnanasya hetuhu, yogasya hetuhu. Shraddha bhakti dhyana yoga davehi. So if you take Shraddha as the cause for, faith is the cause for bhakti, dhyanam and yoga. If you divide the things into 4 of them, Shraddha, bhakti, dhyana and yoga. Shraddha, the faith, bhakti, devotion, dhyana, meditation, yoga is manonasha. So now if you take these 4 as 3 different things preceded by Shraddha, then it says Bhakti Dhyana Yoganam Madhye Uttarottarasya Purva Purya Hedutva. The previous one is caused by the succeeding one is caused by the previous one. इसका मतलब हुआ क्या हुआ? योगस्य हेतुः ध्यानम, ध्यानस्य हेतुः भक्तिः, भक्तेः हेतुः श्रद्धा. उत्तरोत्तरस्य पूर्व हेतुत्वम. Now he explains that chittavritti nirodhe samadhanasya tasmin shruta acharya upadesham anuswaswarupa anusandhana rupa nididhyasanasya sambhavat. Chittavritti nirodha, which is called yoga. The definition of yoga is what? Arresting the thoughts, so to say, bringing an end to the thoughts. How do you bring the end to the thoughts? Can you forcefully do it? Stop it suddenly? You may do it for temporarily, yes. But here, when it is taken yoga as a marga for moksha, temporary measures cannot give you permanent liberation. If that is the case, every night you are in moksha only. Chittavritti nirodha takes place anyway. Or Chittavritti nirodha will take place. You just get into a state of swoon, unconscious, or deep sleep. ये योगा होगा? ये भोग है ना योगा. Then उसका consequence is roga. Here yoga chittavritti nirodhatvam. What then? For that, what is the hetu? Samadhanasya tasmin shruta acharya upadesham. They listening to the teaching from the teacher, swaswarupa anusandhana rupa, in the form of continuous abidance in the one's own nature, nididhyasanasya sambhavat. out of the nididhyasana alone, final culmination of manonasha will take place. So nididhyasanam hetuhu yogasya. So bringing an end to the mind through meditation, and meditation is essentially focusing upon a single thought devoid of all other distractions. And that can be possible only when the knowledge that is obtained from the teacher has become a guidance for the seeker to exclusively meditate upon Brahman. We saw in Sadarshana also, Chintarahita Hridakya, Vrittirahita Hridakya. That vritti, the thought, avoidance of all thoughts, and seeking the self alone. That is called Nishtha also. Yadva, now you are taking Yadva Jai Chintayam Idi Dhatoho Yuktibihi Anuchintanam Rupam Mananam Nididhyasana Sakshat Karanam Uchade Dhyana Shabdena. ध्यान का मतलब क्या है? It comes from the root word dhyai. Dhyai chintayam. Chintayam. The dhyai, the root word, or the dhatu has the meaning chintayam. Dhyana nama chintanam. Not chinta, chintanam. So, chintanam about what? Swaswarupa chintanam. If one has to think about it, you must have done enough mananam. Clarification in the mind should have happened. So therefore, it is definitely mananam nididhyasana sakshat karanam uchyate. Mananam sakshat karanam. So therefore, the dhyanam is the cause for nididhyasan. Now, mananam, when you take it up, dhyana shabdena, so sakshat karanam uchyate dhyana shabdena, jnana pratibandhaka sakala durita nivartakam. The way to obtain the real meditative state through proper thinking, the helpful mean for that is saguna dhyanam. Saguna dhyanam va. Jnana pratibandhaka sakala durita nivartakam saguna dhyanam. All the obstacles that will come on the way while thinking can be removed by exclusively thinking about the nature of the Lord with his attributes. Bhagavat Chintanam, that is considered as the means to remove the obstacles that may come in the way to meditate. Therefore, Atra Ubayatra api Chitta Bahya Vritti Nirodha Rupa Yogasya Hedutvam Asti Eva. Chitta Bahya Vritti Nirodha Rupa Yogasya Hedutvam Asti Eva. Therefore, we consider the elimination of thoughts are obtained by, which is yoga, by the dhyanam, whether it is saguna dhyanam or nirguna dhyanam. Nirguna dhyanam is upadesha vakya dhyanam. Saguna dhyanam, Bhagavat Rupa dhyanam. Whether it is the attributeless Bhagavan you remember as self, which is out of the upadesha given by the teacher, having listened to it, you do manan, and therefore you will be able to come out of any obstacles, or doing the saguna dhyanam. By exclusively thinking about the Lord also, one can get the ability to focus on one thing and then bring an end to the mind. It's yoga. So, or if you take the yoga as associated with each one of them, then it is called dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga. So bhakti is what? Saguna dhyanam. That's what he means. So bhakti hi dhyanasya hetuhu. Saguna upasana bhakti hi dhyanasya hetuhu. In that way, bhakti becomes the cause for dhyanam. If you take only mananam, then it is upadesha vakya. That the taken by the teacher's guidance and meditating upon them becomes a hetu for cause for nididhyasana. But if you take yoga as a separate word, and associated with the two of them, then become Bhakti Yoga Tata Dhyana Yoga. So if you keep it that way. So therefore, Yadva Yuchade Sampadyate Atma Sakshatkarena Anena Idi Yoga Bhaktischa Asau Yoga Dhyanamcha Tat Yoga Idi Bhakti Yoga Dhyana Yoga Idi Va Sambandha. So if you take it separately, then Shraddha is necessary for both Bhakti Yoga and Dhyana Yoga. So both should be taken in account for the sake of obtaining the final realization. So mumukshoho purushasya muktehe bandha nivrittehe hetun iti shruti ghihi Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga Davehi iti Kaivalya Upanishad Sakshat Bhakti Pratyaksha Shruti Ityartha. It is a Shruti, that is where the Upanishad itself clearly points out that that is the way to obtain the Sakshatkara, Brahma Sakshatkara. Alright. Now you see, Shraddhalu Bhaktiman Dhyata Yogi cha Sada Bhavati Amushya. So now you see, Yova Eteshveva Tishtati, whoever it be, Eteshu eva va tishtati, in these, one who is abiding by, one who is able to abide by Bhakti and Dhyanam, Amushya Adashabdasya Prayogena Tadrusha Adhikarinaha Durlabatvam Suchayati. It is indeed very rare to have a person who has such an amount of Shraddha and who would take up the path of Saguna Upasanam va or Nirguna Upasanam va. Then from there, Upasana itself is Bhakti here. Through that, he gains the ability to meditate and reach there. So, atasahastu viprakrishtamiti uttehe tasya avidya kalpitat ajnana mulakat ve deha bandhat ahankari deha bandhat mokshaha nivrittihi siddhyati eva iti sheshaha. We just saw in the what do you call Saddarshanam also, Mrityunjayam Mrityubhriyashritanam, right? One who is able to have to surrender, one who becomes able to surrender to the Lord of Death, then first thing what happened? Mrityum eti upeti. What? Purvam aham matihi mrityum upeti. Ego gets destroyed first. Then after that, everything is very simple only. Once the ego is gone, then there is no question of not able to enjoy the amaranatvam, amrutatvam. What is that? Destruction of the ego, avidya kalpitat, caused by ignorance, ajnana moolakat, from the very source of ajnanam, deha bandhat, ahankaradi deha bandhat, mokshaha nivrittihi siddhyati eva. So that is why it says, Yova ye desha tittati amushyaha moksha avidya kalpita deha bandhat. See, one should understand, deham na bandha. Deham, body is not the bondage. I am the body is the bondage. Otherwise, this is the problem with people. They consider the body as the bondage. They go on persecuting the body. Physically putting lot of fasting and also torturing the body and then rolling on the ground and poking on the nose. Kya tamasha karte hain? Why are you persecuting this physical body? You understand one thing, this body is because of your prarabdha. You did it. Why are you blaming anything else? This physical body, without that, can you do this sadhana also? Without this physical body, can you do any of the sadhana? So consider this physical body as an aid, a thing that is helpful to you, but don't think that is you. Like a computer I use, it's a helpful means to do many things efficiently. But don't consider that alone is me. The effect of considering body alone me, then if the body is not there, you feel miserable. And yesterday also, once I was going in the car, the youngsters, they took me to their house. So I sat down the car. As soon as I sat down, he put the GPS to go home. I said, अरे भैया, घर जाने के लिए भी वो आपका GPS चाहिए. Even to go home, you need a GPS. Don't you remember the way to go home from here? Swamiji, I know, but I don't want to put my mind into this. While I'm here with you, I can talk to you. The car will guide me to go turn or left or right. Why should I think about it? I said, is it not that you are becoming a slave to such kind of, automation? No, not at all. Why? That's why I told you, Swamiji, that when I am, can use my mind in something useful, why I am not such trivial things I can make this computer work? This is the mindset of today's children or youth. What is 5 times 6? Immediately you can say 30, right? If you are thinking, if you are not having the ability to train your mind to think like that, 5 times 6 is what? Wait. 30. Now, in the process, you may say that is an efficient method, but that is not efficient because you are making your mind dull. Some of the people would say that even automation of the car automatic driving is not good because reflex system will go away from you. Your reflex takes place only when you drive yourself, right? And car is driving itself, your reflex ability is also going away. You will not be able to respond quickly when there is a situation. So, while we understand the machine can do the mundane things and we can lift our mind to sublime things, but we don't. We don't take our mind to the sublime at all. We are still ridiculous only. How much of the brain's usage how much of that brain we are using? When we are constantly being guided or supported by the machines, we are losing our ability to do even mundane things properly. Why I am trying to say this is, body is an essential tool to do things, but understand that alone is not you, or without that also is your presence is. That understanding should be there. उसके बिना भी मैं रख सकता हूं और उसके साथ भी मैं रह सकता हूं. There is no dependence on that. When I fully depend upon its ability alone, then I am slave to it. And when slowly, when old age sets in, when it starts failing, you become miserable. Anand usme so you don't think that my joy of life is depending upon this physical body or what it can do. So aham deha iti mati ujjatam. Sadhana Panchakam also says, Dehe hammati rujjatam. Remove the notion that you are the physical body. Now, at the same time, Bhagavan says, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says in the same Sadhana Panchakam also, take care of the body by eating the food as medicine, right? Did he say don't eat? Bhiksha nam you eat bhiksha as the what call annam bhiksha rupena bhujyatam. Eat the food like a bhiksha, as it is limited way you eat. Don't over indulge in that. So the body is a tool to take care for my work. So to that extent, you take care of it. But aham deha iti, this kind of a notion is what is causing the trouble. That ego was to be overcome. That the ego identifying with objects and beings and circumstances and people and experiences and memory and desires. It's a gamut of such identification the ego has. That is the ajnanasya moola karanam. That's why I say avidya kalpita deha bandhat. That deha bandhat, the notion of I am the body is the bandhanam. That bandhat, moksha, liberation. So this way, the teaching has been given by the Guru, and he also assures him very clearly that removal of the ajnanam will be the only way to become freed from this self-created notion of bondage. Therefore, in the next verse, he says, Ajnana-yogat paramatmanastava
Ajnana-yogat paramatmanastava
Yanatma-bandhas-tadayeva samsritihi
Yanatma-bandhas-tatayeva samsritihi
Tayor-viveko didabodhavahnihi
Tayor-viveko didabodhavahnihi
Ajnana-karyam pradahet samulam
Ajnana-karyam pradahet samulam
Ajnana-yogat paramatmanastava Anatma-bandhas-tadayeva samsritihi Tayor-viveko didabodhavahnihi Ajnana-karyam pradahet samulam. Viveka udita bodhavahnihi ajnana-karyam sakalam pradahet. Pradahet, bhasmikaroti, destroys, burns away. What? Ajnana-karyam, ajnanasya karyam, the effect of ignorance. Samulam, from the root, pradahet, bhasmikaroti, burns. What? Which is burning? What is getting burnt? Ajnana karyam, the effects of ajnana. And how does that happen? Because of the fire. What is the fire? Vahnihi, bodha vahni. Knowledge is the fire. What knowledge? Viveka udita, born out of discrimination. Now, here the teacher very beautifully says, Tava paramatmanaha ajnana yogat. That's a beautiful statement. Aap kaun ho? Paramatma hai aap. See, the Guru is looking at the student, says, Aap kaun hai? Tum malum hai aapko? Aap paramatma. Paramatmanastava. You, the one who is Supreme Brahman only. Ajnana yogat, due to your association with ignorance, anatma bandha, the bondage of anatma, non-self. Tata eva samsritihi, because of that alone is the whole samsara. Really speaking, you are the Supreme Brahman only. Due to your association with ignorance, there is samsara. So there are two things. One is called Ajnana Bandhanam and Samsara. Ajnana Bandhanam and the both of them, Tayoho Samulam Basbai Karoti. Both of them are getting destroyed by what? Viveka Udita Bodha Vahni. The fire of discrimination. Now, why do we call the discrimination as a fire? See, when I see a person in front of me or an object in front of me and I do not have a knowledge about that thing, as far as that object is concerned, I am dull. aham mudaha, I'm stupid or fool, I am ignorant, correct? If in a group, in a room of people, when everybody is talking in Russian, who am I then there? An unwanted existence. Because I have no idea what is going on, no clue. So, as far as that, the particular situation where I have no knowledge about what is going on, what can I contribute to it? What can I say? Can I add anything to their conversation? Can I do anything? So I remain there as merely a witness. I cannot do anything. I cannot understand anything. So our knowledge is always considered as a light. Light meaning it reveals. Fire has got two properties. One is revelation, another is burning. Right? It prakashayati basmi karoti cha. It can light show up what is in the darkness, as well as you go further near, it will burn. In the same way, jnanam is that it reveals the truth, burns the ajnan. Both. It makes you realize what is and burns what is not. Interesting thing is, people gain the knowledge from a distance. Why? They don't want to burn. Gurudev, Maharaj, Namaskar. I won't come anywhere near you. Because if you go near, he'll burn you. So that's why distant Namaskar only. I want to know the truth intellectually, but I don't want to burn the ego. You see? But a true student is one who is not afraid of getting burnt. Because what is burning is what is unwanted in him. What is to be destroyed is something to be gotten rid of. So he not only gains the knowledge, but surrenders to the teacher so that he can burn that ego. So ajnana nivrittihi and samsara nivrittihi. Samsara, that's why it says from the root it will take. Pradahet samulam. So when he addresses himself as well, Paramatma, Paramatmanastava ajnana yoga dhanadi avidya sambandhat. Due to that beginningless ignorance, anatma bandaha, anatmasu stula sukshma karana sharireshu atmatva buddhihi. What is called the bondage of ignorance? In having the feeling of I in stula sukshma karana sharireshu. In the three layers of your personality, gross, subtle and causal bodies, there is a notion of I. That is what is called anatma bandha. Tataha eva janma jara marana sukha dukkha jadatwadi dharma adhyasa rupa samsritihi. What is samsara then? Janma, birth, jara, old age, marana, death, sukha, joy, dukkha, death, sorrow, jadatva, the inertness, stupidness, adi, dharma, adhyasa rupa, samsriti. The interesting thing is, janma, jara, marana belongs to sthula sharira. Sukha, dukkha belongs to sukshma sharir. Jadatva belongs to karana sharir. Jadatva means karana sharir. What? When you are at the karana sharir, you are jada only. You are in an inert state. Even the most brilliant scientist of the world, when he's sleeping, is what? Stupid. You ask questions, he cannot answer. Then a great artist or great thinker also, and when he is identified with the Karana Sharira in the Sushupti, then what is his stature there? What is his state? Jadatva. A sleeping man and a sleeping dog and a sleeping tree, all one and the same at that time. No difference at all. They are all of the same category. All of them are in the same Jadaswarup. Tayoh Atma Anatmanoh Viveka Udita Bodha Vaknihi. The fire of Viveka is Veda Jnanam. What is Viveka? Veda Jnanam. Meaning clear differentiation. What are the qualities of this is this, and qualities of this is this. This way, there is absolute clarity about what is Jada and what is Chetan, what is Atma, what is Anatma, what is Nijam, what is Mithya. That Veda Jnanam, Tena Uditha Jataha Bodhavahnihi. Sakshatkara Rupa Agnihi. The fire which can reveal Sakshatkar. That fire which can reveal Samulam Ajnana Rupa Bija Upedam Ajnana Karyam Ahankaradi Dehanta Bandham. From the ego onwards up to the body, Tat Prayojya Janma Jara Maranadi Rupa Samsarancha Pradahet. Pargashrena Basmi Kuryat Ityartha. So Samsruti Karyam Karanam Anatma Bandha. So now you see the hierarchy is given. Now you see Samsruti, the worldly life, the Karanam for that is Anatma Bandha. Anatma Bandhanasya Karanam Ajnana Yoga. So, Tannivritti Upayaha Paramatma Bodhaha Tatra Karanam Atma Anatma Vivekaha Idi Sangrahena Uktam. In order, correct order in that it is given. So, cause for the worldliness is bondage of ignorance. Bondage of ignorance because association with ignorance. Removal of their association with ignorance is only by knowledge of the higher self. And for the knowledge of the higher self, there is Viveka is the Hetu. Iti. Tena Vedanta Vichara Janya Uttama Jnanasya Samsara Dukkha Nashakatva Vishaye Upapattihi Pradarshita Ajnanikasya Bandhasya Jnanadeva Nivrittihi Na Anyata Ityartaha. Therefore, without the knowledge of the self, there cannot be the end of this worldly suffering. So, to assure the student, earlier also he said, no, I have a great fear. Is there any way out? He said, yes. Upaya asti. And that way he assured. But the Shishya is obviously a little restless. You have not come to the solution right now. In the case of this Nachiketas also, he said that, yeah, great, you have asked a great question, etc. Please tell me the answer. But here, the Shishya is little more patient than the Nachiketa. So Shishya says, let me tell you that I am very grateful for you that you know the problem and you know the solution. So here he says, Shishya Uvacha Kripaya Shruyatam Swamin Prashnoyam Kriyate Maya Yaduttaramaham Shrutva Kritartasyam Bhavan Mukat. This is become a Gita chanting, no? The same tune. Kripaya Shruyata Swamin Prashnoyam. That is Ramayana. Kripaya Shruyatam Swamin Prashnoyam Kriyate Maya Yeduttaramaham Shrutva Kritartasyam Bhavan Mukat. Even though the meter is same, the tune is different. So Shishya says, Swamin, O Lord, O Master, Kripaya Shruyatam, please listen to me with some sympathy or compassion. Maya prashnaha ayam kriyate. This question has been created by me. Yad uttaram aham shrutva bhavan mukat. From your own mouth, when I listen to the answer, kritartahasyam, I become fulfilled in my life. I want the answer directly from you for the questions I have. Then I am going to ask you specifically. So here, very interesting is, Sishyasya lakshanam vakshyati. Here, what is the nature of this disciple? The very word disciple means discipline. Discipline yasya asti iti disciple. Shishtam anucharati iti shishya. Now, what is the first discipline? Etena guru sannidau anivedya prashnaha na kartavyah. Do not ask question unless you submissively ask that question. Guru sannidau anivedya. Nivedanam is request. Question should be a request, not a demand. Acha Guru, let me ask you a question. As though you are obliged to say, you are Guru, right? Tell me. So that kind of an approach is not correct. In today's world, even teacher, even this class, schools and colleges, there is absolutely no that reverence or respect for the teacher. Of course, teacher also nowadays they don't deserve disrespect because they also behave like that only. They don't have the dignity. The dignity of being a teacher is not maintained by. They are also smoking. They are also doing all sort of things, and then wear some shabby clothes. And then who will have any respect for them? Not only physical attributes, but also attitudes, bhava. So here, in the presence of the teacher, the question should not be a demand, a request. Anivedya prashnaha na kartavyahi iti shishya dharma bodhitaha. This is the quality of the shishya is being indicated here. Yasya uttaram yaduttaram, for the question that is raised by him, that he will answer. Tatra prashnaha ayam kriyate maya idi uktva anuktva pratamam kripaya shruyatam idi prarthanottaram taduktya guroho. Kripaya shruyatam. May you please listen to my questions. In this way, he is submitting and also drawing the attention of the teacher with compassion. Kripaya, please. Please let me have answer from you. Swasmin daya abhivritaye, for your own kind attention. Manasa mardhavam kshipra jignasutvam cha suchitam. His own tenderness of the heart while asking that question, as well as the very clear, quick jignasutvam. He is expressing his desire to know. Bhavan mukat shutva iti anena swasya ananya sharanatvam gamitam. Bhavan mukat, by your own mouth, by saying that, it is very clear that I do not have anybody else to go and ask this question. Only from you. So that way, the Shishya has submitted himself to the teacher. Now, Shishya is asking the very famous 7 questions. 7 questions of the disciple, which is considered as the true. So, our Gurudev used to say, if you go to any Guru, memorize these 7 questions and then ask. Because these 7 questions are going to be explained in detail in the rest of the entire text. This is this, called as the very source from which the teaching begins. The 7 questions are asked, and this is the verse number 49. So I remember it as 49 because 7 questions, 7 into 7 is 49, so that way. So 49th verse. So if anybody asks what is the actual questions in Vedanta, go to 49th verse in the Vivekachoodamani, that will tell you. Ko nama bandha kadamesh agatah
को नाम बन्धः कथमेष आगतः
kadam pratisthasya katam vimokshah
कथं प्रतिष्ठास्य कथं विमोक्षः
kosavanatma paramaka atma
कोसावनात्मा परमः क आत्मा
tayorvivekah kadametaduchyatam
तयोर्विवेकः कथमेतदुच्यताम्
को नाम बन्धः कथमेष आगतः कथं प्रतिष्ठास्य कथं विमोक्षः कोसावनात्मा परमक आत्मा तयोर्विवेकः कथमेतदुच्यताम्. Ko means kaha. Kaha becomes who or what. Bandha nama kaha. What is known as bandhanam? What is known as bondage? I want to know what is bondage. And katam agataha eshaha. This bondage, how it has started, how it has come. Something may come but not stay for too long. But katam asya pradishta, how it is staying on, it doesn't go. And definitely there must be a way to get rid of it. Therefore, katam vimoksha, how do we get freed from this bondage? 4 questions. What is bondage? How did it come? How does it stay? How does it go? 4 questions are finished. Okay. Now, what is called anatma? Kaha asau anatma. What is known as anatma, not self? And immediately, what is self then? Paramaka atma. Paramaha atma kaha. You only said Paramatma Tvam, right? You referred me as Paramatmanastava. So that Paramatma which you addressed me as, what is or who is that? Paramaka Atma. Then I presently do not see clearly what is Atma and what is Anatma in myself, and therefore how do I discriminate this? Tayoho vivekaha katam. See, it is not as clear as, black and white, night and day. It is not as or light and darkness. It is not like that very clear to me. It is said that when you mix water and milk, can you separate them? How do you separate that? And those who are able to separate, that very bird which can separate the milk from water is known as Hamsa bird. Hamsa bird can do that. It is said, Hamsa bird can take out milk away from water. It will drink the milk and leave the water there. So those who are able to do the Atma, Anatma, Viveka, they are called Paramahamsa. They are called Supreme Hamsa. That's why They are called Paramahamsa, Parivrajaka. When we say Paramahamsa, that's what it means. So here, that Viveka between Atma and Atma is so kathina, very difficult. Now, how do we do? How do you go about that? Iti Uchchata. Please tell me this. Explain to me. So the questions are very clear and straightforward. Pradamam bandhaswarupam pruchati. What is the nature of bondage? Ko nama bandha iti. Tasmin jnate tan nivrittihi. Unless we know what is bondage, we cannot remove it. So if you go to a doctor also, I have stomach pain. If you say that doctor would say, I see in you only stomach, nothing else is seen. So which part of the stomach is having a pain? Back or the front or the middle or the what is where is? So where is the problem? That is exactly what you have to diagnose, doctor. Once you identify the problem, only you can think about the nivritti. So, yuktena upayena sukaroti. By that, sukara iti. By that, knowing that problem alone, it is possible for easily remove it. Therefore, tatra karanam pruchati. What is the karanam? Why the bondage has come? That is why it's called kadam esha agata. Why it has come or how it has come. So, karanam. Bandhanasya karanam kim. How did it come? What is bondage? What is the cause for bondage? Tasya stitau hedum pruchati kadam pradishta asya. How does it go on making me suffer this? Asya bandhanasya pradishta chirakalam stitihi. For a long stay here. Katam kutaha kena hetuna iti yavat. Kena hetuna. By what reason it is continuing to be there? Vimokshaha nivrittihi. How do I get out of it? Guruna paramatmanaha tava anatma bandhaha ityuktatvat ko asau anatma. Kaha asau anatma. Paramatma kaha. Because that's what he addressed him as Paramatma. Then he said, what is this Paramatma whom you are addressing me as? What is that? And you said that anatma bandhanat, anatma yoga. What is the anatma there? Tayoho vivekaha udite yuktatvat. Earlier you said that when viveka is the one which will burn this bondage, then what is that viveka? Tayoho anatma paramatmanoho vivekaha vedagraha katam jayate. How do we clearly know? See, here the problem is the object and subject are both inside. If it is outside, I can clearly say, oh, that is rope and that is snake. Meaning, what I have projected is snake and what is projected upon is rope. But here, the one which is suffering is the one which is supporting the suffering also. Is it not? The projection is happening in me, by me, on me. So, when a person is in the state of dream, why is that he is not able to come out of the dream by choice? Tell me.
Because the intellect is.
No, because dream is dreamt by the person who is creating the dream. The creator of the dream is the one who is suffering the dream also. And he is creating the dream and he is suffering the dream because the creation and suffering happens in him. उसका हेतु हम मैं हूं, उसका कारण मैं हूं, उसका भोक्ता भी मैं हूं. And in me alone it is taking place. It's not somebody else. See, it is like people who are, having this schizophrenia. Whatever, I don't understand even this.
Schizophrenia.
Huh?
Schizophrenia.
What is the spelling for that?
S-C SCHIZORPHENIA.
Very good. I asked many people, they don't know that. So, they never accept that they have the problem. You tell them, you have this split personality, that's what you think. Right? And they cannot take the medicine. Why? Because they never thought that it's a problem. And they never want to come out of also because they never accept that they are the problem. Nobody else. So a dreamer cannot come out of the dream by choice because he doesn't even know that he's dreaming. It's happening within himself. Similarly, unless the bondage is clearly perceived by me as a problem, would I look for a solution? So first thing he says is that, what is bondage? You tell me that first. And I want to know where it has come from. What is the karanam? What is the hetu for that? And I want a hetu, reason for its coming, its stay, both, and its removal. Karanam for his coming, agata bandhanasya, agadasya bandhanasya karanam, tasya sthiti karanam, tasya moksha karanam, mukti karanam. All the three I want. The cause for its arrival, cause for its sustenance, and cause for its removal. So the waker individuality I never would accept unless I am clear about the nature of bondage. I will never be able to comprehend that I am in bondage. Another reason is, सब लोग ऐसा ही है. So when everybody around me is the same, why should I look for a solution? Everybody around me is doing the same thing. They are not doing anything different. Obviously, I'm not feeling odd about it. I'm not feeling that I am the only person who is suffering in this world. Everybody is suffering. So, see, one of the things that really satsanga reveals to us is there is necessarily a way out, because what you are associated with, all people around you are suffering and you are also suffering, therefore it is okay. It is not okay. That is what satsanga reveals to you. And that satsanga also happens out of Bhagavan's grace only. Bin satsanga vivek na hoi, Ram kripa bin. Without Bhagavan's grace, even satsang will not happen. And without satsanga, no discrimination, viveka will not happen. So therefore, the important thing here is that what I take it for granted itself is the bondage. That has to be hammered into the head of the student now. So therefore, that is very important. Vistarena edas sarvam uchchadam. Tayoho anatma paramatmano viveka vedakra kadam jayate edat sarvam uchchadam daya vistarena uchchatam iti bhava. Give me elaborate answers to this. Vistarena tan nirakangsha nirnayartam bandha swarupasya tat sthiti hetoho atma anatma vivekasya cha sutaram ajñatatvat edat sarvam samyak Shravayitva kritartayitavyah dina dinoyam janaha iti bhavaha. I am the most pitiable condition now. By your grace alone, by your teaching alone, I can, listening to that alone, I can completely get fulfilled. Therefore, definitely you should tell me in detail, not in a nutshell. I want the answer in detail. So to that, such a guru, such a disciple, first thing guru does is, I very much appreciate your questions. He never comes to the subject immediately. Really, you are a great person, You have got such a question. Wonderful you are. You are in fact greatly blessed. So we'll see that in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. प्रश्नमस्ति वा?
Pranam Swamiji.
We missed you quite a bit.